2016 as a collegiate branch of the larger United Nations He for She, which
Welcome to the Center for the Education of Women Plus. CEW Plus reaches beyond inclusivity to welcome you to an organization where you can find a sense of belonging. A community where we respect, support, and celebrate each other. We offer a variety of engaging speakers, workshop topics, and free events for all, including midweek mindfulness meditation sets to teach cognitive skills that yield multiple benefits. Work with you within the context of your whole life, supporting you through obstacles that many others may not face. For U of M students, staff, faculty, and the surrounding community, we offer U of M scholarships, fellowships, and emergency funding opportunities to help with a range of situations and life circumstances. We are a voice for those we serve. We use our platform in the university to lift up the needs of those who might otherwise go unheard. Through a variety of staff and faculty advocacy initiatives, task forces, groups, and organizations, we lift up and make space for diverse voices. Other initiatives include the Council for Non-Traditional Students, COUNTS, for students, staff, and faculty, and the CEW Plus Scholar Community for current and past CEW Plus scholars and CEW Plus Inspire. Through the Student Parent Advisory Board, student parents drive change through programming and community building while working with coalition groups to advance policy and process changes across U of M. To support you, we provide individualized career and education services, counseling, and often just a place to be completely yourself. We provide free career and education counseling to people of all genders and demographics taking extra steps to recognize cultural, age-related, gender, or sexual identity and other societal factors that may present unique barriers. Currently, our physical space is closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, but we look forward to being able to welcome you in the future to our student study space, a safe and welcoming place where you can study, network, or just hang out and relax. Established to support women through higher education, we lift up women and all underserved communities at U of M and beyond. Through career and education counseling, funding, workshops, events, and diverse welcoming community, we exist to empower. We are CEW Plus, and we are here to help you reach your potential.
My name is Kim Montgomery, and I represent Safe House Center, and we are the primary provider of sexual assault and domestic violence services in Washtenaw County. The mission of Safe House Center is to provide safety, support, advocacy, and resources for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence and their children, and to work relentlessly to change the systems and attitudes that allow this abuse to continue. For more information about our services, please visit our website at www.safehousecenter.org or call our 24-hour helpline at 734-995-5444. In recognition of Take Back the Night 2021, we demand that every county provide fully funded sexual violence and intimate partner violence programs for all of its survivors. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andy, a representative from He for She at the University of Michigan. We were founded in 2016 as a collegiate branch of the larger United Nations He for She, which is a global solidarity movement that recognizes that gender equality is a human rights issue, not just a women's issue. We invite people of all gender identities in coming together and creating a bold, visible force for gender equality, recognizing that gender is a spectrum, not a binary. Through our campus initiatives, we hope to contribute to the growing student activism through education, awareness, and advocacy. At our bi-weekly general meetings and our monthly media club meetings, we discuss relevant current issues and events that pertain to gender equality. Our community partner organization, the Women's Center of Southeastern Michigan, is a resource center that supports the greater Ann Arbor area with affordable counseling and care, and we regularly coordinate with them to support their work. If you'd like to get more involved with us, please check out our Maze Pages site and join our listserv. Thank you.
Hi, I am Kristen Harder. I'm the Washtenaw County Community Organizer for Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan. PPAM is the political advocacy arm for Planned Parenthood of Michigan, so we ensure that all humans have access to high-quality, affordable reproductive health care. If you would like to get involved with us, please go to our website at miplannedparenthood.org and fill out a volunteer form or an internship application. Thanks so much.
Greetings. I am Kalima Johnson. I'm the Executive Director and founder of the Sasha Center in Detroit. Sasha stands for Sexual Assault Services for Holistic Healing and Awareness, where we work with self-identified survivors of sexual assault in the African American community. In 2020, we celebrated turning 10 years. So we've been doing this work for African American women, girls, families, boys for 10 years, and we're excited about that. What we do at the Sasha Center is provide support group services to self-identified survivors of rape. Our support group services were in person until COVID-19, but now they are virtual. If you want more information about our virtual support group services that happen every Tuesday at 6 p.m., you may give us a call at 888-865-7055. That's 888-865-7055. And if you want to find out what we're doing in the world of the internet, you may go to www.sashacenter.org. We also have all social media handles at Sasha Center. Twitter, we're Sasha Center 1. Our most active social media is in Facebook and also Instagram. You can go there and get information, tips, tools, and things like that. What we do at the Sasha Center is we provide support group services that are culturally specific. We also provide prevention and education programs for men and boys. And we also love partnering with our community partners to make sure that survivors have voice and visibility and have the opportunity to integrate their healing through the arts, through music, through historical tours, and through cultural activities. So again, I'm Kalima Johnson, and I want to say thank you to Pam and Tom so much for all of your support. Allyship is so important. Partnerships are so important. And we thank you for everything you've done for the Sasha Center. And we'll continue to work together. And when the world opens back up, we'll be back together again soon. Take care for now, and congratulations on your activity. Again, I'm Kalima Johnson, the founder and executive director of the Sasha Center. Be well and peace.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm a student leader for SafeMD. SafeMD is a community of medical students affiliated with the University of Michigan Medical School who are dedicated to creating a community in which people are aware of sexual assault and actively work to prevent it, and in which survivors are strongly supported. We achieve these goals through education, leadership, and advocacy. We host educational sessions for medical students to learn how to compassionately care for survivors. We also advocate for survivors throughout the medical system and connect students with resources for survivors. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can email us at safemdboard@umich.edu or search for SafeMD Michigan Medicine to find our website with resources and more information about how to get in contact with us.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Kapp. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm so excited to be here today as a representative of the University of Michigan's Michigan Men Program. The Michigan Men Program equips participants with skill sets that promote personal wellness, healthy relationships, and cultivate values-driven communities through our dialogue and facilitation training programs. The programs include the Michigan Man Box, the Expedition of Manhood, and our Peer Facilitators organization. The Man Box is a 90-minute workshop. It's focused on orienting participants to conversations around masculinity in general. It also provides fundamental tools that assist in having conversations about masculinity, healthy relationships, and personal well-being. Our Expedition of Manhood series explores complex ideas and preconceived notions to develop individualized identities and wellness strategies. Some topics within the Expedition series includes redefining masculinity, well-being, relationships and consent, power, privilege, and oppression, social justice and mutual liberation, and society, the bigger picture, as well as our participants developing individualized community action plans. Our peer facilitator organization co-facilitate these sessions and champion diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as wellness initiatives in their own communities. Note, Michigan Men programming focuses particularly on the societal expectations of masculine identified people and the effects these have on masculine identified individuals, their relationships, and communities at large. However, all interested parties are invited to partake in any of the programs offered, regardless of gender, sex, sexual orientation, physical ability, or any other social identity. If you're interested in learning more, please let us know. Visit sapac.umich.edu/MichiganMen or email us at michiganmen@umich.edu. Thank you.
Welcome to Roe v. Rape, a student-led 501c3 that helps survivors of sexual violence heal through activism and prevent sexual violence through education. The name Roe v. Rape represents the joining of forces of survivors who commonly use the pseudonyms Jane Roe and John Doe in court to come together to fight rape and rape culture alike.
Our goals are threefold. 1, to empower the survivors that we're directly working with. 2, to help other survivors through our advocacy. And 3, to prevent sexual assault so that one day this organization won't be necessary.
We all come together to work on projects that center around survivor activism. And through this, we are able to advocate for laws, policies, and practices that treat survivors with the respect they deserve.
A few of our ongoing projects include campaigning for consent education in Ann Arbor public schools, advocating for free long-term therapy for survivors, and lobbying for statewide legislation. Last year, through our activism and protests, we secured free attorneys for survivors in Title IX hearings at the University of Michigan. This is only one example of how we work together to make an impact in our community.
If you'd like to learn more about Roe v. Rape, please feel free to check out our website, rovrape.org, and our social media for more information. Or you can send us an email at info@rovrape.org to get involved with our organization. Thank you.
Welcome to the Center for the Education of Women Plus. CEW Plus reaches beyond inclusivity to welcome you to an organization where you can find a sense of belonging. A community where we respect, support, and celebrate each other. We offer a variety of engaging speakers, workshop topics, and free events for all, including midweek mindfulness meditation sets to teach cognitive skills that yield multiple benefits. We work with you within the context of your whole life, supporting you through obstacles that many others may not face. For U of M students, staff, faculty, and the surrounding community, we offer U of M scholarships, fellowships, and emergency funding opportunities to help with a range of situations and life circumstances. We are a voice for those we serve. We use our platform in the university to lift up the needs of those who might otherwise go unheard. Through a variety of staff and faculty advocacy initiatives, task forces, groups, and organizations, we lift up and make space for diverse voices. Other initiatives include the Council for Non-Traditional Students, COUNTS, for students, staff, and faculty, and the CEW Plus Scholar Community for current and past CEW Plus scholars and CEW Plus Inspire. Through the Student Parent Advisory Board, student parents drive change through programming and community building while working with coalition groups to advance policy and process changes across U of M. To support you, we provide individualized career and education services, counseling, and often just a place to be completely yourself. We provide free career and education counseling to people of all genders and demographics taking extra steps to recognize cultural, age-related, gender, or sexual identity and other societal factors that may present unique barriers. Currently, our physical space is closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, but we look forward to being able to welcome you in the future to our student study space, a safe and welcoming place where you can study, network, or just hang out and relax. Established to support women through higher education, we lift up women and all underserved communities at U of M and beyond. Through career and education counseling, funding, workshops, events, and diverse welcoming community, we exist to empower. We are CEW Plus, and we are here to help you reach your potential.
My name is Kim Montgomery, and I represent Safe House Center, and we are the primary provider of sexual assault and domestic violence services in Washtenaw County. The mission of Safe House Center is to provide safety, support, advocacy, and resources for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence and their children, and to work relentlessly to change the systems and attitudes that allow this abuse to continue. For more information about our services, please visit our website at www.safehousecenter.org or call our 24-hour helpline at 734-995-5444. In recognition of Take Back the Night 2021, we demand that every county provide fully funded sexual violence and intimate partner violence programs for all of its survivors. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andy, a representative from He for She at the University of Michigan. We were founded in 2016 as a collegiate branch of the larger United Nations He for She, which is a global solidarity movement that recognizes that gender equality is a human rights issue, not just a women's issue. We invite people of all gender identities in coming together and creating a bold, visible force for gender equality, recognizing that gender is a spectrum, not a binary. Through our campus initiatives, we hope to contribute to the growing student activism through education, awareness, and advocacy. At our bi-weekly general meetings and our monthly media club meetings, we discuss relevant current issues and events that pertain to gender equality. Our community partner organization, the Women's Center of Southeastern Michigan, is a resource center that supports the greater Ann Arbor area with affordable counseling and care, and we regularly coordinate with them to support their work. If you'd like to get more involved with us, please check out our Maze Pages site and join our listserv. Thank you.
Hi, I am Kristen Harder. I'm the Washtenaw County Community Organizer for Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan. PPAM is the political advocacy arm for Planned Parenthood of Michigan, so we ensure that all humans have access to high-quality, affordable reproductive health care. If you would like to get involved with us, please go to our website at miplannedparenthood.org and fill out a volunteer form or an internship application. Thanks so much.
Greetings. I am Kalima Johnson. I'm the Executive Director and founder of the Sasha Center in Detroit. Sasha stands for Sexual Assault Services for Holistic Healing and Awareness, where we work with self-identified survivors of sexual assault in the African American community. In 2020, we celebrated turning 10 years. So we've been doing this work for African American women, girls, families, boys for 10 years, and we're excited about that. What we do at the Sasha Center is provide support group services to self-identified survivors of rape. Our support group services were in person until COVID-19, but now they are virtual. If you want more information about our virtual support group services that happen every Tuesday at 6 p.m., you may give us a call at 888-865-7055. That's 888-865-7055. And if you want to find out what we're doing in the world of the internet, you may go to www.sashacenter.org. We also have all social media handles at Sasha Center. Twitter, we're Sasha Center 1. Our most active social media is in Facebook and also Instagram. You can go there and get information, tips, tools, and things like that. What we do at the Sasha Center is we provide support group services that are culturally specific. We also provide prevention and education programs for men and boys. And we also love partnering with our community partners to make sure that survivors have voice and visibility and have the opportunity to integrate their healing through the arts, through music, through historical tours, and through cultural activities. So again, I'm Kalima Johnson, and I want to say thank you to Pam and Tom so much for all of your support. Allyship is so important. Partnerships are so important. And we thank you for everything you've done for the Sasha Center. And we'll continue to work together. And when the world opens back up, we'll be back together again soon. Take care for now, and congratulations on your activity. Again, I'm Kalima Johnson, the founder and executive director of the Sasha Center. Be well and peace.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm a student leader for SafeMD. SafeMD is a community of medical students affiliated with the University of Michigan Medical School who are dedicated to creating a community in which people are aware of sexual assault and actively work to prevent it, and in which survivors are strongly supported. We achieve these goals through education, leadership, and advocacy. We host educational sessions for medical students to learn how to compassionately care for survivors. We also advocate for survivors throughout the medical system and connect students with resources for survivors. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can email us at safemdboard@umich.edu or search for SafeMD Michigan Medicine to find our website with resources and more information about how to get in contact with us.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Kapp. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm so excited to be here today as a representative of the University of Michigan's Michigan Men program. The Michigan Men program equips participants with skill sets that promote personal wellness, healthy relationships, and cultivate values-driven communities through our dialogue and facilitation training programs. The programs include the Michigan Man Box, the Expedition of Manhood, and our Peer Facilitators organization. The Man Box is a 90-minute workshop. It's focused on orienting participants to conversations around masculinity in general. It also provides fundamental tools that assist in having conversations about masculinity, healthy relationships, and personal well-being. Our Expedition of Manhood series explores complex ideas and preconceived notions to develop individualized identities and wellness strategies. Some topics within the Expedition series includes redefining masculinity, well-being, relationships and consent, power, privilege and oppression, social justice and mutual liberation, and society, the bigger picture, as well as our participants developing individualized community action plans. Our peer facilitator organization co-facilitate these sessions and champion diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as wellness initiatives in their own communities. Note, Michigan Men programming focuses particularly on the societal expectations of masculine identified people and the effects these have on masculine identified individuals, their relationships, and communities at large. However, all interested parties are invited to partake in any of the programs offered, regardless of gender, sex, sexual orientation, physical ability, or any other social identity. If you're interested in learning more, please let us know. Visit sapac.umich.edu/MichiganMen or email us at michiganmen@umich.edu. Thank you.
Welcome to Roe v. Rape, a student-led 501c3 that helps survivors of sexual violence heal through activism and prevent sexual violence through education. The name Roe v. Rape represents the joining of forces of survivors who commonly use the pseudonyms Jane Roe and John Doe.
I'd like to recite a little poem that I wrote tonight. It's called I Don't Give a Damn. I don't give a damn what you were wearing. I don't give a damn how much you drank. I don't give a damn if you danced with him earlier in the evening, if you texted him first or were the one to go back to his place. People may continue to come up with reasons why it happened, but the truth is, I don't give a damn. But I do give a damn how you're doing. I give a damn about you being okay. I give a damn if you're being blamed for the hurt you were handed, if you're being made to believe you're deserving of pain. The only reason I am standing here is because people gave a damn about my well-being, even when I did not. They reminded me that I carry light and I deserve to be loved, even when I forgot. They gave a damn. That's why I am who I am today. So here's the takeaway. When we step up for survivors, when we stop sealing them off in shame, when we quit interrogating them with stupid questions, look what happens. Books are written, laws are changed, and we remember we were born to create, to not only survive, but to look hot. And celebrate. So tonight, you must come away knowing that I will always, always give a damn about you. The way you gave a damn about me. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, to the 43rd annual Take Back the Night Ann Arbor. TBTN is put on by University Students Against Rape and Standing Tough Against Rape Society. Thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Pam Swider, and I am the co-community leader along with my husband, Tom. Where are you, Tom? Where is he? Things look a little bit different than our usual Take Back the Night, but we are glad that we could do something this year. We appreciate you all out there who are out there in YouTube Live. Hi, everyone out there in the internet world. And we ask you to please be patient with us on the stream, as this is a learning experience for all of us. But there's a silver lining, as there are people who normally couldn't be here in person that can experience this rally along with us. And you'll be able to virtually march along with us too. Last year was something else, wasn't it? The lockdown happened right before all of our events, and we were crushed when we had to cancel them. We were still able to do a video version, but it wasn't even remotely the same. And it was really disappointing for me as it marked the 25th anniversary of my assault. I had a trip planned to commemorate it, which I am doing this December. But then I had to watch how this isolation affected everyone. And I started becoming so concerned because I knew how it was affecting survivors, especially those who have to spend the pandemic with their perpetrators or around people who have no idea how to support them. When we started planning this year's event, we decided to theme it Take Action. And we'll talk about that more later this evening. And Take Back the Night Ann Arbor is how I take action. When I started healing from being raped, my first Take Back the Night was very impactful to me. So when I got to a place where I wanted to start helping others, it was a natural place for me to get involved with. In the beginning, I never imagined being the community leader or doing it for 13 years and beyond, but here I am. Having watched so many people being touched by this work, from the attendees to our amazing volunteers, past, future, and of course present, makes it all worth it. This year, it would have been easy to take the year off, to do something small, to not do this rally and march. We had 100 excuses to not do it. Constant obstacles put in the road from multiple directions. We are all volunteers here. We do not get big grants. We do this all on donations that we work very hard to get. Tom and I do not make anything doing this work financially. In fact, most years it costs us our own personal money and certainly a lot of time and energy. But we knew we needed to take action and keep pushing. Ultimately, sexual violence is about seizing someone's power. And this makes those who are most vulnerable at the highest risk. If 2020 taught us anything, we see specifically that women, Black, Indigenous people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, and children need us to stand up for them. This is going beyond sexual violence. People are dying. We need to use the privileges that we have to speak when they can't. We need to let them know that they are not alone. We need to keep pushing, even when everyone is telling us it would be easier just to give up. So that is why, in spite of this pandemic, we are here tonight. And it is important that you have all taken this step to be here too, whether you're standing here in this diag or you're watching the stream. And we hope that we can educate you, inspire you, empower you, and for those of you who are survivors, let you know that healing is possible and that you are never alone. So thank you all for being here tonight. And now I will turn this over to our two senior student leaders, Sam Schubert and Emma Wellman.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you all for coming together in support of this important community event. My name is Emma Wellman, and Sam, my fellow student leader of USAR, and I both want to welcome you here tonight, those on the diag and all of you watching our live stream. Hi, Mom. We have a few things to go over before we get started. First, we want to make sure everyone is safe tonight and following all COVID-19 protocols. Please wear your masks at all times, up and over your nose. We have Take Back the Night Ann Arbor masks for free. If you need one, they're over there. Remember to keep 6 feet apart from those people outside of your housing bubble, and we do have hand sanitizer available if you need it. As we said, TBTN Ann Arbor is put on by USAR and the community nonprofit STARS. If you would like to be involved in next year's planning, there's a sign up at the table, or you can email us at info@tbtnannarbor.org. When posting pictures, we would love if you use the hashtag TBTNAnnArbor, and we also have a Snapchat filter that will be available during the rally and the march. A huge thank you to our sponsors who are listed on the program. which you can find on the rally page of our website as well, with a special acknowledgement to Prestige Entertainment and Safe House Center, who are here with us tonight. They helped us to spread the word and provide funding to put on this rally, and without their support, this event would not be possible. Lastly, a huge shout out to our volunteers. Everybody, raise your hands. Woo! They have contributed countless hours and energy to plan and organize TBTN. Without their help, we would not be able to continue holding the rally, march, and all other events this year and every year. Thank you all. Before we move on to the rally, we want to make sure that people feel safe and supported. Some of the content presented tonight could be triggering. Advocates from Safe House are available if needed and are wearing white armbands. Over there. Please raise your hand if you're an advocate. For those who are streaming, we have resources available for you too. If you are in Washtenaw County, you can call the hotline at Safe House 24/7 at 734-995-5444. You can also call 800-656-HOPE to reach the National Sexual Assault Hotline or hotline.rain.org to chat. We would also like to thank the community leaders of TBTN, Pam and Tom, who are right there. Please raise your hands. Hello. They have been organizing the Ann Arbor Rally and March for 13 years. Those two have been a source of knowledge, inspiration, and courage that has allowed us to hold this event and others that have led up to this moment. We greatly appreciate their dedication and commitment. Thank you, Pam and Tom. While we rally and march here today, it is important to acknowledge the space that we are occupying. We are all in the land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi people that was given to build the University of Michigan, believing they may wish some of their children hereafter educated. Accommodations, however, were not put in place to make that possible, and the three tribes never received benefit. As we at the University Students Against Rape Society and STARS work to uplift the voices of all survivors, we must check our own privileges as organizers and recognize where we came from. Therefore, we would like to acknowledge that Take Back the Night was a movement founded in part by sex workers who are often forgotten and looked down upon in the work to end sexual violence. Thank you for joining us today as we work to empower survivors of all genders, races, sexualities, occupations, religions, abilities, and backgrounds. We are honored to have Nicole Denson as our MC. Nicole is an activist and advocate for those who have been touched by sexual violence and has worked in this space tirelessly for over 15 years, advocating especially for Black, Indigenous, people of color, women, and those in the LGBTQ+ community. She is the co-founder of Mute R. Kelly Detroit and has started Mosaic Collective Consulting to focus her advocacy work within and for the BIPOC communities. Thank you, Nicole, and welcome all to the 2021 Take Back the Night Ann Arbor.
Hello, 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 everyone. Good to see you. I know it's cold, but we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, okay? So I need you all to be socially distant, of course, but we're going to have some fun tonight. Can we scream and make some heat come on over here? So how's everybody doing? Well, you know, let me take a moment to tell you a little bit about who we are. Take Back the Night is a worldwide movement dedicated to raising awareness about the prevalence of sexual violence and providing a forum to give survivors of sexual violence a voice. We together tonight demand recognition of the problem the sexual violence is in our communities. Unite to take a stand against the cycle of violence and empower those that dare. You hear us out there? Dare to speak out against us and against it. After the rally, we will grab our drums and signs to march through the streets of Ann Arbor. I would now like to bring up Ann Arbor's own mayor, Christopher Taylor. Can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? Excellent. Well, my name's Christopher Taylor. My pronouns are he and his, and it's my great pleasure to be here today. I'd like to have a few remarks, and then I do have a proclamation. The first is that, again, I'm pleased and proud to see you here today in person and, of course, online. You're going to hear powerful stories, powerful performances, and you'll engage with community support and activists in order to empower survivors and to demand change. You know, in America today, it's a pretty unsettled place. We have the shock of white nationalists storming the Capitol. We have the cancer of anti-Asian hate and other expressions of white supremacy. We have the outrage of climate deniers, the disgrace of a new Jim Crow, the horrors of gun violence, and the enduring dishonor and tragedy of being a nation where millions hold fast in their support of a president who has boasted of his sexual predations. But at the same time, and as dark as those circumstances truly are, I know that you agree with me that there is opportunity for change. You would not be here otherwise. I know that you know that in the face of these outrages, we have cried out to demand change. We have launched movements. We have voted to great effect. And tonight we will march. We will march to take back the night, to end sexual relationship and domestic violence. Now in Ann Arbor, we condemn these crimes and these injustices and the culture that excuses them. We support survivors everywhere and the organizations that lift them up. We make domestic violence arrests. We live by the Start Believing program, and we ensure that those who choose to come forward are treated with the seriousness, compassion, and dignity that they deserve. Sexual harassment and violence by men burdens and devastates the lives of women and girls and children every single day. It is the expression and it is the instrument of male dominance and patriarchy, but I do not believe that it is inevitable, because cultures do indeed change. You know, the everyday can become infrequent, and the infrequent can become disfavored, and the disfavored can become condemned. It has happened with other deep and pervasive injustices, and it can happen here too. Male violence may be our deepest and most pervasive social pathology, but it too can be defeated. It can be defeated by women and men working together to name it and to confront it. And tonight, you're a part of that movement. And you're a part of the deeply necessary and just fight. So I just want to thank you for doing it. And now, you know, one of the, as mayor of Ann Arbor, you've got a city council and I've got rules, and there are all sorts of different things for which require a lot of process, but one thing which doesn't require a lot of process are proclamations, and it's my pleasure to have here a proclamation proclaiming April 21 Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I'd like to read it for you today. Whereas sexual harassment, abuse, and assault are widespread problems that affect women, men, and children across all socioeconomic backgrounds. And whereas in the United States alone, nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 67 men have been raped at some time in their lives, and that 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls are sexually abused before the age of 18. And whereas sexual violence happens in all communities, including online spaces, we are spending more time online, whether work, school, or entertainment. And with this increase of virtual connection comes an increase of online abuse and harassment. Consent and boundaries can be violated online in many ways, and the trauma of online abuse is all too real for many survivors. And whereas each of us has the power to change this, we all can make a difference to ensure that our communities are safer and that survivors feel and are supported and heard. Whereas awareness and prevention are at the heart of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it is time to draw attention to the prevalence of sexual violence and to educate individuals and communities about how to prevent it. Now, therefore, I, Christopher Taylor, Mayor of Ann Arbor, Michigan, do hereby proclaim April 21 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Ann Arbor, and join with communities and advocates everywhere to prevent sexual violence and uplift survivors of this crime. Together, we can and we will build a safer and more supportive place now and in the future. So thanks so much. The mic is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can we give Ann Arbor's Mayor Christopher Taylor one more round of applause? Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to give a shout out, of course, to Pam and Tom. We've been doing this for a really long time together, and it's a pleasure. Rain, sleet, or snow, I will be here for you all, okay? So thank you so much. They're the definition of allies and co-conspirators. Love you both. And like Pam, unfortunately, I'm a survivor of sexual assault. But I'm not going to talk about the sad parts about my story. I'm going to talk about the liberation. And just like Pam, I remember my first Take Back the Night. I saw people being brave and speaking their truth. And from where I came, that was something that I could only dream about. And so I remember being on Michigan State campus and seeing all these people with signs and being brave. And that was the start of my activism. So I always want to give my voice here because the students work really hard. And I want to say thank you all so much. Because COVID and everything that's happened, for you all to be here and to have worked so hard for others, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Let's give them a round of applause. And to show the seriousness, I want to tell you a little bit about Sarah Everend. On March 3rd, Sarah Everend was walking to her home and went missing. A week later, her body was found 50 miles away from where she went missing, confirming she had been assaulted and murdered. A UK police officer has been arrested for her kidnapping and murder. In February, he had been arrested on suspicion of indecent exposure. London came together to hold a vigil and protest that this violence against women must stop. Organized by Reclaim These Streets, which is their version of our Take Back the Night. Though authorities in London, under the guise of COVID restrictions, tried to stop the vigils, and those who attended were arrested. They were able to raise over £200,000 in one day to help stop violence against women in Sarah's name. Worldwide, Sarah's case has brought together an outpouring of women sharing their experiences of sexual harassment and assault on social media. Recognizing how everyday women have to make a mental check before they leave the house when they go out alone. We would like to dedicate the first performance of the evening by All About Dance of Chicago to Sarah Everend. She was just walking home. This happens to too many women, and this violence must stop.
No sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, wonder this time where she's gone. I wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. In this house it ain't long. Anytime she goes away, and I know, 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 I know. Hey, you ought to leave the young thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. sunshine. When she's gone, she's always gone too low. Anytime she goes away, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. In this house it ain't no home anytime she goes away.
Hi, I'm Cami. I'm a junior student leader. Thank you to All About Dance for creating that wonderful video for us for tonight's event. All About Dance is a dance school in Chicago whose focus is to create a community among their dancers and teachers and make a space where everyone can dance. We're gonna go over the definitions. Am I up here early? We're going to go over some terminology because it is really important that we are all on the same page when we talk about sexual violence, as it is a delicate topic. We're going to cover a topic that can be sensitive for some, so I just wanted to give a heads up. We'll start off with sexual violence. Sexual violence includes any unwanted physical, verbal, or visual act that is done through violence or coercion. It is not motivated by attraction. It is motivated by the desire to control, humiliate, and harm. Rape is a form of sexual violence, but not all sexual violence is rape. Rape is a term that is often used in legal settings to distinguish acts of sexual violence that involve any kind of sexual penetration of the victim. It is not sex. It is not an act of love or passion. It is an act of violence used to scare, degrade, and otherwise harm the victim. We also want to quickly address the misconception that sexual violence is only inflicted by strangers in dark alleys. In reality, most perpetrators are someone the survivor knows. According to RAINN, 8 of 10 acts of sexual violence are committed by a partner, friend, or acquaintance of the survivor. Some perpetrators use threats or physical force, but they may also use emotional or psychological manipulation to coerce the victim. Partly for this reason, we think it is extremely important to provide a clear definition of consent. Consent should never be assumed for any reason. Consent should be clearly, freely, and enthusiastically communicated. Consent cannot be given by minors, a person who is significantly impaired, or in relationships where there is an unequal power dynamic. A yes from another time doesn't count. Consent should be asked for every time, regardless of the relationship between people, and it can be withdrawn at any time for any reason.
In my section, I will be going over some important statistics around sexual violence and the different populations that it affects. According to a 2015 report from the Centers for Disease Control, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 38 men experience completed or attempted rape in their lifetime in the United States. It is also shown that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience at least one incident of some form of sexual violence in their lives. This averages out to about 52.2 million women, and 27.6 million men. With all of these statistics, though, it is important to keep in mind that sexual violence often goes unreported. This means that these numbers are underestimates of the actual incident rates. In fact, reports of sexual violence to the police have decreased exponentially just in the past 3 years alone. In addition, sexual violence pervades specific groups of people at higher rates. People in the LGBTQ+ community, people of color, people with disabilities, Native Americans, students in Greek life, and the many, many people who sit at any intersection of these identities have a disproportionately higher risk of experiencing sexual violence in their lives. We would also like to make a point to further discuss the impact of sexual violence on Native Americans. Until recent changes in the Violence Against Women Act, tribal courts did not have the authority to prosecute non-Native offenders, leaving Native women vulnerable to slipping through the cracks if an assault happened on tribal land. Many Native American women are left out of these statistics because of this. According to a report from the Department of Justice, 84.3% of Native American women experience some form of violence, with 56% of Native American women experiencing sexual violence and 55.5% experiencing domestic violence in their lifetime. An Indigenous graduate student in California named Anita Lucchesi has been developing a database to track missing or murdered Indigenous women across the country. To find out more, her website is anitaluchesi.com. Sexual violence also occurs at every and any age. However, the majority of sexual assault victims are between the ages of 18 and 34. Women in this age range are nearly 4 times more likely to experience sexual assault than the general population of women. In addition, researchers estimate that before the age of 18, 1 in 6 men will experience unwanted or abusive sexual contact. So to end, are we making any progress? The short answer is yes. The Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAIN, estimates that the rate of sexual assault has fallen by 63% since 1993. But of course, we all know we're still here today because there's a lot of work to still do. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Bridget and Cammie, two USAR volunteers. What we'll be doing tonight is having dancing, song, and of course speaking. And one of the tools I use besides activism and advocacy like these guys, these girls, these people, is I use healing tools that were great for me, which is art. Anything that you have that you're great at, focus in on that. That's where the healing begins. That's where you find who you are. So just keep true to yourself, okay? And our next performance is by Catherine Katie Crumbs. She, her, hers are her pronouns. She's from Metro Detroit and lives her life as a musician, scientist, ally, and advocate. She is a singer and a multi-instrumentalist who has previously performed at the Little Caesars Arena with the Detroit Women's Chorus, directed at Redford Theater with both Park Players and Young Professionals Youth Theater, and maintains a private music studio in Livonia. Sounds very impressive. Welcome, Katie Crumbs.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gotta walk it out and mountains, we gotta walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. The silence isn't quiet. rise 1,000 times again. I will rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. And for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, we will rise.
Katie, we hope you're watching. Katie, if you are, that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. So, Jacqueline Friedman, I was so excited when I heard she was going to be with us again. Jacqueline Friedman is a writer, she's an educator, and activist, and creator of 4 books, including Yes Means Yes, Visions of Female Sexual Power, A World Without Rape, and her latest, Believe Me, How Trusting Women Can Change the World. Her podcast, called Unscrewed, is paving new paths to sexual liberation and was named one of the best sex podcasts by Marie Claire and Esquire. As an undergraduate, Jacqueline thought she was too smart to become a sexual assault victim until another student proved her wrong. Friedman's work has popularized the Yes Means Yes standard of sexual consent that is quickly becoming law on many U.S. campuses. She has been a guest on The Today Show, Nightline, PBS NewsHour, Call Your Girlfriend, and numerous other audio and TV shows. I see you, Jacqueline. She also has been on Vox, Refinery 29, The Washington Post, Glamour, The Guardian, and now I'm honored to present Jacqueline Friedman.
Hey everyone, I am so sorry that I couldn't be with you in person, but I'm so glad that it's possible for me to be with you this way and know that I am always with you in spirit. It's always a little bittersweet for me to speak at a Take Back the Night. We've been doing this so long. My first Take Back the Night was 1991, I think. You would think by now we would have taken back all 24 hours of the day. But that's why I'm so glad that this year's theme is Take Action, and why I want to spend my time with you talking about how to do just that. But first, I want to be really, really clear about something. Being a survivor, it doesn't obligate you to anything. You didn't choose it, and nothing you could have done could have ever caused it. So you don't have to do or be any kind of way to be a valid, important survivor who is worthy of love and justice and care. You don't have to tell your story if you don't want to. You don't have to feel or act any kind of way, and you definitely don't have to become an activist or try to make the world better in any way just because you're a survivor. You don't have to earn anything about it. I mean that with my whole heart. That said, while I am definitely not the kind of person who believes that everything happens for a reason, I have found for myself that activism can be a really powerful way to make meaning out of trauma. If I can use my pain as a motivation to make the world better, it can often help me keep despair at bay a little bit. And of course, what's the opposite of despair? Hope. And so the first thing I want to talk to you about is hope. Taking action requires hope. If we don't believe anything can change, why would we bother? In recent years, I've been asked more and more frequently how I stay hopeful, and my answer is a little surprising to people. It's that I've stopped relating to hope as an emotion, and I've started to think of it as an attitude. Here's what I mean. I got this actually from a book by one of my favorite writers, Rebecca Solnit, and the book is called Hope in the Dark. And in it, she explains that the important thing is not to feel hopeful. It's lovely to feel hopeful. If you feel hopeful, like, nurture and water that feeling. I'm all for it. But the most important thing, whether you have that emotion or not, is to act as though you have hope that things will change. Because maybe then we might take an action that works, right? Maybe you won't, but you'll only try. You'll only have the opportunity to do something that works if you think something might change. If we assume nothing can change, if we act as though there's no hope, we make that grim outcome a lot more likely. So my first real piece of advice to you about taking action is this. Don't wait until you feel hope blossoming in your heart like a spring day. Again, that's amazing if you feel that way, but it's not required. What's required is that you act as though there is hope. And by doing that, you can often produce hope through your actions. This is a simple idea, but I don't want you to mistake it for easy. Producing hope is hard, daily work. And that's why my next piece of advice is, whenever possible, to not try to go it alone. Whatever your issue, there are other people who want to work on the same kind of thing. I swear, I've never found that to not be true. A lot of the time, there are people who are already working on it, and they will be happy to have your help. You don't have to be a leader to take action. You don't have to reinvent activism or start a new organization to take action. A lot of the time, it's really much more mundane than that. You just have to find folks who are already doing the work and show up and do what they ask you to do. And listen and learn. If they've been at it longer than you have, they probably have a lot to share. It's not very glamorous. Very little of this is glamorous. If you're into glamour, I feel you. Glamour is fun. Own it. But find and create it in other places in your life. Social change work is not about glamour. It's about impact. That's not to say it shouldn't be fun. Fun is super important. Fun is essential. This is really hard, really emotional work, and even partial victories are too infrequent. If we can't find ways to make it fun for ourselves and other people while we do the work of social change, not only will we burn out, but it's not going to be a really appealing movement to join, is it? So, yes to fun, just don't expect glamour. And speaking of new people, I really want to encourage you to be the new person at least as much as you are the person trying to welcome in new people. So what do I mean by that? Among other things, I'm specifically saying that we should make it a practice to decenter our own individual specific experiences as survivors some portion of the time. And in that time, we should show up for movements where we can be useful without being centered. So here's an example. A few years ago now, there were folks here in Massachusetts who wanted to roll back the protections for trans people using public accommodations, just like cis people do, that were already enshrined in law in Massachusetts. And so they were using oh, we want to protect women from rape as a reason for their hateful, transphobic policy. And so as a cisgender woman, I'm the kind of person they're theoretically trying to protect. And so I used that status they were affording me, and I stood up and said that I won't let my trans sisters and brothers be oppressed in my name. The specter of sexual violence is actually, we don't talk about this a lot as a movement, but it's actually often invoked by people trying to advance all kinds of odious, oppressive agendas against migrants, against queer people like myself, against Black and brown men, against sex workers. The list goes on. And sexual violence also takes other forms that we don't recognize as often. The most recent, as of this taping, horrific example is that murdering Asian sex workers because you hate yourself because they turn you on is absolutely sexual violence, and it is our responsibility to address as a movement against sexual violence. The pandemic itself is a sexual violence issue. We know that countless people have been trapped for many months in continual proximity to their abusers. So expanding our definition of survivor activism is not only the right thing to do, although it is the right thing to do, but it's a really critical way for us to build an unstoppable, and because it is deeply intersectional, movement. All right. If this all feels overwhelming, that's really normal. One of the best ways that I've found to move through the paralysis of trying to do something as big as end sexual violence is to not make that my goal. I would absolutely love to do that, but now that we've talked a little bit about how big our movement can and should be, I want to encourage you to take things one small piece at a time in terms of your own work, your own activism. So instead of trying to take everything on all at once, I really encourage you to identify an issue that you feel passionate about. That could be sex ed policy or healthcare access or transformative justice, whatever it is. There are a lot of sub-issues when we're talking about sexual violence. And then figure out, of that sub-issue, if there's one small piece of that sub-issue that feels like something you could imagine contributing to changing. So what I'm saying is, you probably can't make the world safe from sexual violence overnight. I mean, if you can, please do that. But more realistically, can you get your town to invest more resources in clearing rape kit backlogs? The more specific and narrow the goal you set for yourself, the easier it will be to figure out what are the steps you're going to need to take, who are the people you're going to need to connect to, what are the tools and resources you're going to need to achieve it. And then once you've achieved that, then you can figure out the next thing. And we build progress, we build our movement brick by brick that way. Okay, the last piece of advice I want to give you about how to effectively take action is to stop sometimes. This can be really, really grueling, emotionally punishing work. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. So it's so important for all of us to make time for rest, for healing, for self-care, yes, but also community care. When we take care of each other, we all grow stronger together. Rest and heal and take care of each other and ourselves, not just because it makes us more effective at taking action in the long run, which it does, but because you are a whole and beautiful human person, and you deserve rest and healing and care and connection. You don't have to earn it. Your value is not in how much you can get done. You're already so precious and valuable right now, just as you are. And you always will be, no matter what. Try not to lose sight of that, and try to help remind each other of it too. After all, having the freedom for every one of us to be our full, squishy, powerful selves, free of fear and pain and oppression, is ultimately what we're fighting for, isn't it? I'm so glad to begin it with you. I'll see you out there.
But we thank you for being with us, both last night for the event.
Hi everyone! I wanted to be able to be here live. I've been watching the whole thing with you over Zoom, and I wish I could be there in person, but I didn't get a vaccine in time. But I just want to say thank you for turning out in the cold, in the pandemic, to fight for survivors and to fight for a world without rape. I'm going to be with you the whole time. Don't stop fighting. Thank you.
That's so exciting. If you can, go get her books. She is a powerhouse. And so again, we're all bundled up, we're cold. We know this work is not glamorous, but it's impactful and meaningful. Thank you, Jacqueline. We wish you could be here again with us. And thank you for last night at the event Literati. And tonight, of course, for all the work you do, being an activist and bringing women's voices and people's voices to the forefront. Next up, new movement. We need to get some movement. Get shaking, you all. Come on, shake it out. Shake it out. There we go. Next up, new movement provides beginning and experienced dancers on the University of Michigan campus with a non-competitive space to learn dance techniques in styles such as modern, jazz, hip-hop, and ballet, as well as opportunities to perform and choreograph. Welcome, new movement.
I was brought up in a line, but I seem to walk in circles. It's getting hard to navigate when every map was never made for me. And I thought it would feel good to understand why I was different. But my title just talks over me. I never even asked to be this way. But to say that I'm a rainbow, to tell me that I'm bright, when I'm so used to feeling low. Well, it makes me feel alright. I didn't think it fair. I was not to be trusted. Well, how can I get out of what a million people shout to me? Should be stuck inside myself. I'd love to watch you cause you'd understand in minutes. And I'd like to think you'd miss it. 'Cause so would I. So say that I'm a rainbow and tell me that I'm blind when I'm so used to feeling wrong. Well, it makes me feel alright. makes me feel alright.
Thank you, New Movement. We encourage everyone here tonight, whether in person or virtually, to take action against sexual violence. Being here with us tonight is the first step to showing your support, and the next is to make a pledge that you can keep track of. Please use your camera to scan the QR code that is at the free table, which will take you to a Google form to write your own pledge to take action against sexual violence. Your pledges will be displayed on our website, and there is an option to receive a second form to submit a photo of you taking action. For those of you watching the stream, you can go to tbtnannarbor.org/pledges. Here are a few ideas that you can use to guide your pledge. I pledge to be aware of my behavior around individuals who are alone at night so I don't make them nervous. I pledge to shut down any and all rape jokes I hear. I pledge to be a non-judgmental listener when a survivor tells me their story, and I pledge to hold my friends accountable for being allies. I would now like to bring up Kirsten Burge and Pam Swider, who are both on the board of directors of STARS, to talk about a project that we are kicking off tonight.
Hello there. On September 20th, 2005, a stranger entered my home and sexually assaulted me for hours. He took me by knife point to a bank to withdraw money, then had me drive to an abandoned building, and because I cooperated, he wouldn't kill me and let me go. I drove down the one-way street and frantically drove back to my apartment. I went to my neighbor's apartment where I collapsed at his front door. I banged on his door for him to help me. He carried me in and contacted the police. The police took me to the hospital. When I arrived, they took my statement. I remember sitting there while giving my statement, shivering and crying, just trying to catch a breath. Later, you think just having a warm blanket would have been comforting. I was only wearing a t-shirt and shorts. You are already traumatized from what happened, then having to give your statement multiple times. The same nurse performed an exam for the rape kit. They took all my clothes, including my coat, for evidence. I was given disposable, scratchy hospital scrubs. I had no bra or underwear. I thought much later of what I experienced when I went to the hospital. It would be nice for a hospital to be able to give survivors something warm, to put on like a sweatshirt or sweatpants, having new undergarments, and a care package such as soap, a toothbrush, or toothpaste. Those are the little things that are big things after going through something so awful. Our Take Back the Night rally in March this year is about calls to action, a way to help other organizations support sexual assault survivors. Pam will now talk about a way you can help us do that.
Thank you, Kirsten, for sharing your story. As you just heard, when a survivor goes to the hospital or a clinic for a medical forensic exam, otherwise known as a rape kit, this is a very traumatizing experience. It's a difficult decision to make to go in the first place, and then to go through the process of being clinically examined everywhere possible by strangers in a cold, sterile environment is like going through the assault all over again. In order to obtain as much evidence as possible, their clothing must be taken. After the exam, this leaves the survivor the option of either calling someone to bring them clothes or getting those those temporary scrubs from the medical center they are in. To make this experience a little easier, we are partnering with St. Joe's Hospital in Washtenaw County and Avalon Healing in Wayne County to create sweatshirts for survivors. We will be collecting comfy clothes and other personal items to have available for examiners to give survivors to wear home after their exam. This will give them back some dignity and grace they so desperately deserve after making that brave choice to get justice for the violence that was committed against them. And you can find out more about this on the STARS website at www.stars-mi.org. And we're doing this through Amazon, so it's easy to do it. And thank you so much.
It's all too familiar. Fault lines written by tongues bitten by silence. Thoughts formed we weren't searching for violence in our questions, our suggestions. It's all too familiar. What was she wearing? Was she walking alone? She shouldn't have drank so much. She should have been more careful. She like it was her fault. Like gender violence isn't a man's issue. Like men can't help themselves. Like the responsibility for one's own actions doesn't fall on one's own shoulders. Like men don't have the power to change how men act. And I remember as a young teen learning the facts. 1 in 3 made me sick. How could men like me do this? They couldn't. I thought they couldn't. They must be monsters. They must be monsters. Monsters in the masks of men. Monsters in the masks of men rearranged their faces until I can no longer see myself in them. Monsters. And I remember going to a party in East Vancouver and seeing a patch on my friend's jacket that said, "Stop Rape." The message so clear, so inarguably simple, and yet it left a bad taste because it jarred me from my place of comfort. Because it reminded me of the reality we all face. And that initial reaction, my initial reaction, was me choosing silence, therefore allowing for violence. And that was a clear case of the culture of rape. And I remember in the dressing room cheering along as a teammate proclaimed that in victory we had raped the other team. Or in the lunchroom when my boss made a sexist joke and I said nothing. Or yesterday, when I pulled on an article of clothing and referred to it as a wife beater. This culture of violence touches us all. And by dismissing perpetrators as monsters, it allows us not to analyze our own actions. Men, take your masks off. Men, take responsibility. Men, open your mouths wider. Show more than your teeth. There was a softness in your throat waiting to be freed. Men, we are responsible for the vast majority of violence. Men, it's an epidemic. Men, don't think that it has to be this way. Men, if you could make the world safer for the women you love, for all women, children, and men, wouldn't you? Men, you can. Men, we need you to be courageous, to speak up and to be more than a bystander. Men, put your masks down. Men, let's look each other in the eyes. Men, let's talk.
Tonight, we ask the men here to join together in signing the Men's Pledge, making a commitment to work in the fight to stop sexual violence. The pledge that we ask you to sign reads, "I understand that men must play a critical role in breaking the cycle of violence. I understand that what I do and say can either encourage or discourage stereotypes that lead to sexual assault and domestic violence. I understand that it is my duty to speak out about sexist values, attitudes, and beliefs. Therefore, I will challenge inappropriate remarks, jokes, and stories. I understand that men also suffer from the destructive effects of patriarchy and violence. And lastly, I understand that this fight is not blindly blaming men for the violence that exists in society, but instead, this fight is asking men to speak up and be part of the solution. Please join me, men, in signing the Men's Pledge. And for those of you who are watching the stream, the pledge is available at tbtnnarbor.org/pledges.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are loved, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. And to be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved. And the darkness can come quick. The danger's in the anger and in the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. And tell me what it is that you see. A world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
All right, thank you all for signing the pledges and taking the first step in action to help survivors and stop sexual violence. Sorry, one second. For those with us tonight who are survivors, we want to emphasize that you do not have to go through recovery alone. There are resources, many of which are free of charge, that offer help and support. We have listed several in the programs, but would like to highlight SAPAC, the On-Campus Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Center, and Safe House, Washtenaw County's Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Crisis Center. Regardless of where you live, you can always count on the National Sexual Assault Hotline, 1-800-656-HOPE. Reach out to them if and when you need help. They are here to listen and to support you. Sorry, the mask makes it really hard. As an ally or supporter of a survivor, one of the most important things you can do is to listen and to believe your friend if they come to you for help. Don't judge or second guess them. Be patient and be present. You too can refer to any of these resources to educate yourself about what your loved one is going through and to be a better ally. We are here today to change the reality we live in. In the meantime, know you are not alone. There is hope, and there are people who are able to help. Thank you.
So, we have made it to our final performance, but I want to please give yourselves a round of applause. It is cold. You are on live stream. We have some brave people here. And again, it's all about hope. That is what has got us through the last year. We are here. And our final performance is by Marielle Bursch and Allie Cool. Marielle is originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She had a love of music since she was young and embraced the opportunity to perform from elementary school through her days at North Carolina State University in various musicals. As working as a character performer and being a member of the cast choir in the Candlelight Processional at Walt Disney World in Orlando. Allie is originally from Corona, California. She has been involved with music since her early days and grew up in a musical family. She performed in piano competitions and was a member of multiple bands performing throughout the Los Angeles area. Most recently with the Roustabouts. The two have bonded over moving from the East and the West Coast homes to the Midwest. Welcome. Late night piano sing-alongs as they have connected, now living in historical Highland Park.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way that words do when they settle beneath your skin. Tucked on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes shadow winds. And I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and
Thank you so much for that beautiful performance of Brave. And you survivors who can't march with us tonight, know that you are not alone. We believe you, we're here with you, and we stand in solidarity. Now, are we ready to march, you all? Yeah, it's cold. You on live stream, it's cold. When we're ready to march, we are here, and we will take the routes along with the chants. You can go on our website and scan the QR code or go to www.takebackthenightannarbor.org for a link to the program. We will follow our banner holders after the rally ends. Oh, okay. But before we get started, one more thing. You thought it was over with. One more time. We got some demands, y'all. We got some demands before we march. Can we do that real quick? Again, this is about taking action. I had to take action for my voice and my story. And I had to walk accordingly. Again, Marie and Allie, thank you for that terrific performance. Everyone's already up on their feet. At this point of the night, we will state our demands. We will join together with organizations that work as advocates and activists in this space to state these demands that need to happen in order to make this world a place free of sexual violence.
We demand that after we leave this event, we will all continue to be active and vocal, working towards a world without sexual violence.
We demand the recognition that a survivor, regardless of what they do or what they wear, is never responsible for being assaulted.
We demand that every county provide fully funded sexual violence and intimate partner violence programs for all of its survivors.
We demand that all Black women and girls are sacred, safe, honored, and revered in every situation. Black women, Black girls are human.
We demand the perpetrators of this violence, the batterers, rapists, assailants, and murderers, be held responsible for their actions and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
We demand that intimate partner violence and sexual violence be considered a human problem, not just a women's issue.
We demand that all of us will uplift survivors of marginalized identities, all races, genders, sexualities, religions, abilities, and backgrounds. We demand that we will hold each other accountable to be better allies.
Prioritize survivors of sexual violence.
We demand that only active, sober consent is true consent.
We demand the recognition that anyone, at any time, and in any place can be assaulted.
We demand safety everywhere, from our bedrooms to our workplaces, to our prisons, to our streets. We demand an end to sexual violence as well as other forms of oppression and violence.
We demand that no means no!
Again, no means no! No means no! No means no! We're gonna start chanting. Are we ready to march now? Are we ready to march now? Okay, great, great. Now again, the route along with the chants is on our website. You can scan the QR code or go to www.takebackthenightannarbor.org/rally for a link to the program for details. We will follow our banner holders after the rally ends. We're marching in the streets. Please stay in the lane with traffic, as they are only able to close the one side of the street for us. Also, if you are unable to keep up with the march, please move on the sidewalk for safety reasons, okay? Please follow social distancing and keep on your mask. We will be silent as we march along a portion of Thompson Street. This is to honor those who have died as a result of sexual violence. Please raise your signs higher and put your hand over your heart, or raise a fist as a sign of solidarity. The leaders of the chants will resume their chants after the moment of silence is completed. After the march, we will return to the diag for a short candle vigil. Due to COVID, please feel free to keep your signs or dispose of them instead of returning them this year, okay? We ask that those in wheelchair or pushing a stroller move toward the library steps first. As the final song ends, please move toward the steps. Grab a sign, grab a drum, and follow the volunteers with the banner as we march through the streets to let our voices be heard.
Woke up feeling like I just might run for president.